Welcome to a new Waterwave TV interview. We got a real deal legend in the building, Flahn Manley.
What's good? What's good? What's
What's
good? What's
good,
good?
man?
What's
We
going on, brother?
here.
How
We've
you
been
doing,
talking
man?
about doing this for a long time,
Forever, bro.
and I just knew we were gonna find the right time to do it. We got the nice setup. We got the new mics.
Man.
We got fucking Jedzilla in the back
Yes,
doing
my
the camera
mans.
and light work for us, so you know
Yeah.
it's gonna be professional. Now,
Yes,
had to
yes.
make sure we had the good quality shit before we
Man,
got
I
you in
appreciate
here,
it,
man.
bro.
Yeah, well, what's your day been like? I know we were here. It's about noon. What you been up to today?
It's been cool. I had a rough start, but I rode my bike here with my praise music on. Got some coffee, got some black coffee from across the street. You know what I mean? Now I'm here, I'm chilling.
That's good. That's
Can't
good.
complain, bro.
Man,
I'm blessed.
what you been up to recently? Any projects you've been working on recently?
Honestly, I just did the Street Arts Festival
That's
yesterday.
uptown, right? Yeah.
Yes. No. Downtown, Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did that yesterday. I did that on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
8 hour shift. You know what I mean? Out there just painting on panels. So it was fun.
When you do those art festivals, are you out there like selling art, or is it just like live art performances?
This is my first arts festival.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, these pop ups, like when I go there, somebody might be throwing an event, right? Oh, Flahn would like to come out there and just paint live, right? So I might as well go out there and just mess around, you know what I mean, and showcase my work, or I might sell merch or whatever. But for the most part, I just got the network. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. But yeah, I'm curious to hear your story. Were you born? You weren't born in Minnesota, right? I think I seen an article where you moved here in like 1998. Is
Yeah,
that
so
correct?
I was
Yeah.
born in West Africa, Liberia.
Okay.
So I came here in 1998. This October making me 24 years in America.
Cool.
Yeah, so during the war, we fled Liberia. We came here and went to North Minneapolis, actually. I lived in North Minneapolis for like a year and a half, 2 years. Then eventually I lived in New York. Then I came back. I lived in Brooklyn Park.
Yeah.
Then I went to high school in Brooklyn Park. Then I left and went to the East Coast for like 14 years, 13, 14 years, right? I was going for all these years.
Yeah.
Then I just came back recently when I met y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So you said Liberia is
yeah,
where you were born.
Liberia, yeah.
What was it like? How long? How old were you when you left there? How long did you live there?
I was like 10 years old.
Okay.
I was 10 years old.
What's some stuff you learned or experienced in your first 10 years of your life out there?
So Liberia is like where I learned how to survive, right? I learned how to survive. I know how to maneuver, and like the first 10 years of my life was like very pivotal times in my life, right? Because you're dealing with war. Liberia had its glorious days, right? But I didn't get to experience that glory day, right? So you have to learn how to navigate in spaces, right? And where kids are being captured to become child soldiers, kids are being captured for being to be used as rituals, right? And here you are trying to find your way, dealing with a lot of trauma, so it was very challenging. So for the longest, I didn't want to go back home because that place is like where like I just didn't. You kind of want to come put it behind your mind and forget about it, but it creeps up, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then there are other kids that was in the same environment as you, but we're all pretending that we didn't come from that, right?
Yeah.
And we want to be black, we want to be like Black American and lie, say, oh yeah, I was born here and all that. You had that time but it's because you are suppressing the trauma. You're in denial of your identity, where you're from. But growing up in Liberia, I didn't get to experience Liberia glory days, but Liberia is like America's stepchild. Liberia is America colonized Liberia, right? So they kind of developed the country at the time before the war started. So it was a really good place for tourism to travel at, whatever. But right when I was born, is where everything got shut down. Basically, a 10 for it was 14 years civil war, but imagine COVID for like freaking 14 years, right? But lots of guns and grenades and all that stuff, people dying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that intense.
Shit.
Yeah.
During that time when you were out there, like, so you were young, did you understand what was going on at that time? Like, were you like you like if it was since it was that severe, a lot going on, did you kind of like realize that was happening at that time when you were that age? Or did you learn about kind of what life was like when you got a little bit older?
Um, Certain events, like this shit is very real, right?
Yeah.
But then again, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a kid. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna have fun. I'm very playful, right? So I didn't care. Like I'm the kid like that. I went outside to go play outside, with go leave the yard when I'm supposed to be inside. Because at any given time I can go missing, but I'm outside playing. So like there are times when like this shit is fucking real. We gotta go hide, and there are times like fuck it, Flahn's gonna go walkabout, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and do what he want to do, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that moment, whatever. But we had some very talented time where, you know, I never really spoke about this before ever on no platform or anywhere, right? But my mother told me when we was like, I was like probably 18 months old. This month, actually, 33 years ago, this month,
Well,
where was like in a market somewhere. We're not in a market, in this place where my mother used to work for these people, where the rebels came and just took over, captured. You know what I mean? Captured us for like 15 hours, right?
mm-hmm.
And it was like bloodbath, basically, right?
Wow.
And me and my mother survived that incident, right? So I wasn't young, I wasn't old enough to remember, but it's something that happened that my body kind of held this emotion of that I actually experienced, right? But so it's there, right? I experienced this thing, right? But it was bad. Everything could have went left. Everything
Yeah.
could have went bad, right? But because of God, we survived that.
That's
That's something I didn't know about, but I learned about this 3 years ago before I came to came to
wow.
Minneapolis, came back to
Mm-hmm.
Minneapolis. So that was that event, you know what I mean, of something I experienced. And the other thing, you know what I mean, you seen like the war going on, but yeah, that was like the most part that
Damn.
actually that could have affected me, you know what I mean, mentally,
Yeah.
yeah, as a person, you know what I mean.
That's
But
wild.
yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I'm thankful that you're here
yeah,
to
nah,
tell
I'm
the
blessed,
story
yo,
today.
I'm
Yeah,
blessed,
and
bro.
everything
Yeah,
all the connections and times we've talked and all the
yeah,
business we've done together.
yeah.
When you were still in Africa, did you learn? Were you learning to paint, exploring your artistic side, or did that come when you moved to the States?
I've always been an artist, right? I've always been because all right. So during the war, I was in school like that. You know,
Yeah.
I would go to school, then I would get taken out for some reason, right? So I didn't really go to school until I came to America. So mind you, right? You you could draw, you could express yourself, but you're not in a classroom setting where everybody else is,
Yeah.
right? For a long period of time. So by when I came to America is when I actually went to school. Now I'm like 10 years old, and I'm in the fourth grade,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now you gotta do math. You gotta read. I didn't know how to read until I was like probably like in the freaking fourth
Because
grade.
were you speaking English
I
before
was
you
speaking
came?
English,
Okay.
you know. I know how to express myself, all these things, but I didn't know how to read. I was emotionally illiterate, you
Yeah.
know, when it comes to that. So I was like behind. So when you want to limit your vocabulary, you're very emotional. You don't know how to express yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know how to articulate your feelings, all these things. Right? It could have effect on you.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why. So, but yeah, I was behind. So I was
Wow.
playing catch up from like, when I for the time I get in America.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
When did you find the love for creating?
It's always been there.
Okay.
I've always had a competitive advantage because when you sit with yourself in long enough, you express yourself, right? Whether it be on the ground, drawing on the ground, or playing. You know, like in I don't know if you probably see like the YouTube videos. You've sometimes seen like some kids play like they'll kind of create like the primitive house where like they kind of build like architect
Oh, like
whatever.
when they're building it with like sticks and shit in the middle of the
Yes,
woods, digging with the building like the huts in the middle
yeah,
of the
yeah.
woods
But you
there.
have like an entire compound or an entire
Yeah.
mansion or whatever. As a kid, I did that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was really good at that. I should have been an architect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dead serious, bro. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So I wasn't drawing. That's what I was doing
Mm-hmm.
when I was back home. Then you playing like in like the sand and mud or whatever, trying to kind of build like the sand castle, all that. So
Yeah.
you're getting sick because you're in the dirt all day,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I was doing that. You know?
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
That's
When I
what
came
put.
to America is when I started drawing more.
Okay.
You know, so I started doing like comics, a Dragon Ball Z, you
Mm.
know, stuff like that, whatever. But back then I was really drawing. I would just express myself in all the meetings. But
Mm-hmm.
when I came here, is when I started drawing more.
Fire.
Yeah.
So did you? I think so. You're talking about. Did you ever like make your own comics, or are you just drawing after them, like in that style?
Oh, I never made my own comics. I wasn't my imagination wasn't that wild to do my own comics.
Yeah,
You
but
know
you
what
were
I
just
mean?
like that's what you enjoyed
Yeah,
sketching after
yeah,
was like
yeah,
comic
yeah,
type style stuff.
yeah.
Um, when did so around that time coming to the U.S. You're in like fourth grade. Let's speak about like going like I guess growing up going to high school.
Mhm.
Did you going through high school is when you kind of get to choose like explore your creative side. You get to have electives. I
Mhm.
want to take this art class or I want to take this music class or
Mhm.
whatever. What classes were you drawn to at that age in high school?
So like, let's go back to middle school, right?
Okay.
The art has always been there, right? It's like my cheat code, like my hack. It's like it's something I'm gonna use to win anything, right? To
Yeah.
finesse my any situation, the art, right? Because if I can't if I can't keep up with science or math, I'm gonna finesse something with art where I'll get grace with the art,
Yeah,
right?
I feel that.
So art has been a medium that helped me get here. It's been a catalyst my entire journey. So
Hmm.
middle school, art. I'm drawing on my jeans, like
Mm-hmm.
with markers, right? Or I'm doing Indian ink, right, on my jeans, and that's what I did throughout middle school to express myself. So
Mm-hmm.
high school now is when it actually counts, right? The points, right? High school, I was so bad in I wasn't bad. I was like trying to find myself as a youth, right?
Yeah.
And be doing the gang affiliation, right? So I got sent up to California to live with my sister,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so when I went there, you know, it's a new environment. You have a clean slate. You got to start all over, right? But I'm crippin'. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
gang, right?
Okay.
Obviously, you're gonna find your tribe. You're gonna go ahead and find people that you identify with, and it wasn't so good.
Mm-hmm.
So that time I was just bullshit. I wasn't doing well in school.
Yeah.
So I thought that 3 months I spent in California, 3 to 4 months I spent in California, I could just forget about it. But no, it followed me because I had to
Mm-hmm.
make up for those credits.
Yeah.
So my credits did not transfer back to Minnesota. So when I got back here, my entire sophomore year, I audited. That means nothing I did counted towards my thing.
Damn.
Yeah. You follow me, right?
Yeah.
So now, but I had to be at school. I had to be at school no matter what. Regardless I wasn't getting credits or not, I had to be at school. When it got really real was when I tried running cross country in the springtime for track and field. Where I was running, training because I love running, and it's like, oh well, you don't have a pace to graduate, so you got to make up these credits. You know what I mean? So that's when I had to like kind of have a game plan on how I'm gonna graduate. And
Yeah.
art has been there for me. I kind of created my own courses. You know what I mean? As an independent, steady person or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And by the grace of God, the teachers and the principals actually kind of would work with me because I kind of proposed what it is I could do,
Mm-hmm.
and it helped me. So yeah,
Fire. Did
yeah,
you
bro.
you caught up? You end up graduating high school out
Yeah,
here?
with like one credit, with
Mm-hmm.
one credit extra.
One credit extra.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You didn't. I think at the time you didn't like 42. I had like 43.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else just had like 50 something or 60
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But
Oh.
yeah, I really kind of like did that. I did summer school,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of created my own curriculum. You know what I mean? Center around art
Mm-hmm.
and things I love, whatever.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
That's cool that you got to kind of like create your own
Yeah,
curriculum
yeah,
in a sense. I remember when I went to high school, if you took enough art credits, you got to do what was called like independent art,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
where you kind of get to pick what art fields you want to do. Whether
yeah.
you already did painting 1 and 2, and you want to take 3, it's not
Mhm,
like on there, but they can make it for you.
mhm.
Remember, I did a graphic design, and I was the first student at my high school to ever take graphic design in the
Wow,
history of my high school.
wow.
I brought it up as an option. I was like, yo, to my painting teacher, I was like, yo, I want to do independent art, but I'm interested in graphic design. Do you know that? Would you be able to teach it? And he
Wow.
said yes. I was the only student in graphic art 1, and I just like took it in the middle of his drawing class.
Uh-huh.
Like he would just like give me my assignments,
Mhm.
show me what to learn, and then the following year they actually made graphic art 1 a class for students
Yes,
to take.
yes.
So then there was like 12 students that took that, and then I was the only graphic art 2
Dude,
student.
yes.
So I was in that same class, but I was like, they were doing what I did the previous year, and I'm doing what they would do in graphic art 2 the next year. So it was pretty cool to just like pioneer a new way of like a new course in my high school or whatever. But I've always been like the type that want to take the art classes for all my electives. You know what
But
I mean?
it's funny you said that, right? I had
Mm-hmm.
this exact situation. What happened with me in high school, actually. That's what kind of saved me. So there was, I think it was Photoshop 7.0, right?
Mm-hmm.
A buddy of mine called Kenny. He was on the track team, the smartest in his class actually, '06, and he had Photoshop. He would like mess around with graphic design or whatever, doing websites. So I learned that. So the same thing happened to you where I would go at home, make MySpace pages or whatever. So by the time they had that offer, the stuff, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I was already ahead,
Yeah.
right? So I think something happened. The teacher that was there before, he got laid off, whatever. He wasn't there no more. So everything that was being taught in the classroom, I already knew already. So
Mm-hmm.
eventually, I became like independent study while helping the students in class as well too, because I already
Yeah.
had like a year head start already. Remember, told you I had 1 year to audit. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking everything art related, right? So whenever it showed up, oh yeah, I know that dude's already.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So now rather than become a student, I was a teacher. So I
Nice.
got points of being a teacher as well too.
Fire.
Yeah, bro.
Fire. You think a lot of those lessons have helped you in your career today?
Oh
Like
yeah.
going through like high school and adversity and
Yes.
being behind on a lot of
Yes,
things and catching
yes,
up.
yes,
Definitely
yes,
helped you a
yes,
lot.
yes, big time. That's why I'm able to like whenever I see a young individual, like when I met Calvino, I got excited because I'm like, yo, this is something I did already.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you guys are young. Y'all have support. Like I got so excited to be here to the point where I had to spend some money to bless it because like, wow, I did this already. How can I be an added blessing? Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I was telling myself, whatever you need help with, advice wise, I can help you with it. Resources wise, if I can get it, I will find a way to get it to you because I did this
Yeah.
already. Because I experienced my entire life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's growth and research. I literally did this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you go to college or any universities after high school to explore any more schooling?
I was doing that. I was doing that, and like I said, you get exposed in academia because you wasn't taking the stuff serious, right?
Yeah.
So your support system is not there no more. You're in college, right? And whether it be like I was my strong suit was in math, right? But art was always there. English is a little bit better, right? But the support system is not there, so you're getting exposed, right?
Mhm.
But I never really quit. So I did some art courses in college, math, science, history, all that good stuff. And but what happened was I ended up arrogance kind of got me to drop out of college because
Mhm.
you know my professor kind of challenged me and I didn't like it, so he kind of failed me
Mhm.
because I wasn't subdued, right?
Yeah.
So we just kind of led me to dropping out of college because I couldn't afford to go back anymore. So I
Yeah.
said, no, I'm gonna do this on my own.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel that. Yeah. It was
yeah,
kind of. Yeah. Me and all the water wave guys, we went for like a year and a half, and then we
hmm
all dropped out the same semester and moved
yeah,
out here to start this shit.
yeah,
So I think it's like it's good for anyone to go to college if you don't know exactly what you want to do right out
yeah,
of high
yeah,
school,
yeah.
but don't be scared to leave if you find what you want to do
You're right.
before you
You're
early
right.
on in
You're right.
college,
You're right.
or if it's not for you, like there's a and now even nowadays like the college degree does not mean as much as like it was supposed to when we were going through high
You're
school
right.
and stuff. People are you can self create a lot of things and that can be
You're
your
right.
resume rather than a
You're right.
degree nowadays.
You're right.
So I encourage people to go to college if you don't know what you're doing, but don't be, as soon as if you figure out what you want to do while you're in college, don't be
You're right.
scared to drop out because it'll always be there if you have to go back or need to go back, and
Yeah,
whatnot.
I'm 100% pro education. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I am. I mean, as an older adult now, I'm 100% pro college, pro education. You know what I mean? I'm pro being accredited because it allows you to however you serving, you need the
yeah,
discipline. You need to be very disciplined. Whether you're a doctor or lawyer, but even as a creative, if you're not disciplined enough, whatever, you're not gonna make it. So
yeah,
go to art school, get a
yeah,
discipline. You know what I mean? But then again, also as a creative, sometimes you kind of lose your spark because you're being institutionalized, whatever. Because you learn to think a certain way. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You are very close minded. You know what I mean? Because you feel as though you got to follow the rules. But I mean, as far as school goes, whatever, I'm pro education. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I think
And there are certain things that you cannot really like wing it or trying to find your way because you're gonna suffer.
yeah. And school will challenge you
Yeah,
in ways like you said, to make you uncomfortable, challenge you,
you're right.
push you to the level of like I really like painting and I really like painting, this style, but I have to make this style of art for my class.
You're
I'm
right.
not normally good at that,
You're right.
but I'm gonna challenge myself to do it, and you might end up being better at that
You're right.
than you were in the other
You're right.
one. That's one thing I took away from college is that I took the classes I know I was interested in,
You're
whether
right.
it was economics or business law or art, photography, all those types of things while I was there to like explore what I wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
interest
Mm-hmm.
wise,
Mm-hmm.
and then I found my passion through
Mm-hmm.
that. So it was definitely a good story,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a good investment of my time, you could
No,
say, or
it's
whatever.
definitely a good investment. Honestly, like I
Hmm.
said, all college really does is kind of prep you to kind of when you go into the workforce to prove like, hey, these are my credentials. This is how I would try and test it, and this is my accreditation. And this person vetted me out thoroughly, and I'm very serious. Whatever. Then they can put you into the workforce. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because that's what it really does. But you also need to have the confidence, right, and the
Yeah.
grit to be able to do that. For me, I was like I said, I'm a poor employee. Anyways, I'm not. I love serving, but I just didn't at the time. I didn't really. I hated authority. You know what I mean? So all that play into it. You don't have guidance too. It kind of mess up, but. I'm 100% pro that because
Hmm.
you do have to prove yourself, right? You have to prove yourself. You need grit.
Yeah.
You need something to have to that to measure how serious you are. You know what I mean? What we get into because else you're gonna have lots of hacks in the space or whatever.
Hmm.
So college kind of help you be able to block out the hacks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So now let's talk about leaving college. When did you realize that like art could be like a job for you, like a full time gig? Because like I know I like recently as we've met in the past few years, I've seen you doing shows, selling artwork,
Hmm.
doing big murals for people, for stores, for
Hmm.
events, or whatever's going on. But what clicked? Like what was that big moment where you're like, damn, like this is like who I am. Like being an artist is who I am.
Bro, it's like I've always known that.
Yeah.
I've always knew. I made my first money. I made my first. So like I've always knew that I can make it with art, right?
Mhm.
I've always knew, right? But the only challenge I've ever had was people telling me it can be done.
Hmm.
You right? I've always known, like I made art is what got me here. But
Yeah.
God and art is what got me here. I'm trying to say that. I would say it over and over again, right? I've always like knew that um, that I made money in high school. I didn't have a job in high school.
Hmm.
I sold t-shirts in high school. I would draw on t-shirts. I would print t-shirts, whatever. I've always doing it, but it
Yeah.
was people that were trying to tell me it can be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like facing that resistance, you know what I mean? That it can be done. Or you're not serious, or whatever. Yeah, I dealt with that, but that didn't stop me.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's just that now I just blur all that stuff right now. It's just been exposed more. But something I've always I haven't had a job within the last. I worked when I came back. I had a little job for cash flow, but God was like, bro, focus on your art, and my
Hmm.
art has been able to pay my my bills. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You know, I live at. It's not cheap where I live at. It's very
Hmm.
expensive, right?
Hmm.
My art is what pay my bills, right?
Yeah.
Art is what take care of my family. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But it's because I truly believe that this is like my thing. This is like my one thing God gave me, whatever. I can be able to share love, right? Share emotion, right? I can invoke emotions, right? I can bring people together, right? Has been my thing. The minute I hone in on it, God, like, I will bet you ready for
Hmm.
the next level. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, but like, it's not like a defining moment where I was like, oh my God, boom. I've always like known, but like, it's like when I decided that I'm gonna stop listening to people that tell me that it can because it's happening, but it's trying to
Hmm.
confuse me. Oh nah, you BSing whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so there was a moment I had that time when I'm gonna stop caring what you think, but I've always like knew that this is what I want to do. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah. No,
Yeah,
it definitely makes sense. I
yeah,
mean, I went through that a lot. A lot of
yeah,
people told me water, like, what are you doing with water
yeah,
wave? Why are you, all these people are just using you for your for your service and all
yeah,
this and that. And it's
yeah.
just people that one aren't by your side to even see it,
Mm-hmm.
and two like would never be able to do this shit themselves. So it's just them being having some type of animosity
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking on like being able to like make money off of art, where do you? Maybe this is like just some advice for some
Mm-hmm.
people out there that want to make a full job at art. How do you make your money? Is it more of like you sell big pieces to clients that are looking for like that big portrait? Is it t-shirt designs? Is it smaller prints? Like what are you? What's the best way to sell your art? And how have you found success in selling your art?
The best way to say your art. So I'm thinking about this answer because it could be anyway, right? So
Yeah,
obviously social media works, right? If you got clout,
yeah.
that works, right? But you got to be of service. You got to be of service, right? You got to like people. You
Mhm.
got to be able to tell stories, right? And you got to know yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you are going to attract people that are like you, that want to like experience the vibration you putting out there, right? Then eventually they're gonna buy in.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if that answers the question, right?
Yeah.
Because you can make the dopest art, but if you don't know who you are and your audience, then you're gonna just settle for anything,
Yeah, because there's a lot
right?
of talented people out there. Same with
Yeah,
like the music industry. Like
yeah,
you can be super good at making
yeah.
music, but why aren't people listening to it?
Yes,
Why aren't they buying
exactly.
your merch? Why aren't they buying your
Yes,
physical copies?
yes, yeah. So I make money through murals. I do make money
Mhm.
through commissions. People hire me, hey, Flahn, I want a painting of my sister that passed, or my my husband, or
Mhm.
my brother, from my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of those, whatever. But yeah, that's how I make money through my art. I make money through commissions, and
Mhm.
but for the last 2 years, last year and a half, I just been focused on my portfolio.
Okay.
And I get jobs which is like murals. It comes
Mhm.
right, and I just take it. I don't know. It just comes. Now I really don't solicit my work. Oh, I need this or whatever. People just hire me, and I
Yeah.
just randomly say if I need to make some money, it would just come like that. It just me putting out the vibration out there that I'm worthy of what it is that I want, and
Yeah.
then it just come. But I have to get in tune with myself, and I put that vibration out there, and I'm not desperate. So
Yeah.
eventually I just get blessed. With opportunity, and it just come.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I think focusing on your craft
Yes.
before focusing on selling your
Yes.
craft is very
Yes.
important. Same with like, art obviously and even photography
Uh-huh.
and music and producers and everybody that
Mhm.
has a service to offer.
Mhm.
If you can build that portfolio of this is what I've done
Mhm.
and this is the people I've met and this
Mhm.
is like the outcome of what I've been able to do,
Mhm.
then that's where the money starts coming in. Like
Yes.
when first year of Water Wave, I went to so many concerts and shot photos and videos and just told people like, oh, here's my business card.
Mhm.
Like if you want the photos, like DM me on the gram or
Mhm.
whatever, and you get it out to them. So it's like same potentially with art. You're making art, going to these events,
Yeah.
showing it off.
Yeah.
Maybe taking donations for prints of your stuff
Yeah.
to just spread your word, spread your
Yeah. Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of cool ways to do it. Have
Yeah.
you? What's the biggest piece you've done, like size wise? Not necessarily dollar amount, but have you done like what's the biggest mural you've painted or canvas or whatever?
I've done two big ones. I done two big ones. recently. It was intense. You know, it was one I did at my brother's just opened a shop in Uptown. It's called Provider, and I
Mm-hmm.
did that within like I think like 3 days, right? Because he had a deadline to meet for his grand opening, and I was so busy, and I was like, God, I just need the strength to be able to get this done. And then I got sick, right? Dealing with resistance, like my dealing with resistance. I'll get back to
Mm-hmm.
that. But then I got sick, but I had to like just fight through this. So I did a canvas piece, like five by six. Then I did a huge, I think probably 15 feet by 9 foot wall. Then I had to do another 8 foot by 5 wall
Mm-hmm.
within like 3 to 4 day span, right? Yeah, that was intense. That was my most recent work I did.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually one of the sponsors for my show. Actually,
Yeah, I
from
seen
our
that.
art
Yeah, I was
show
about to mention
Provider.
that.
Yeah, so that was like one of the most and also I have free reign to paint what I wanted, right?
Mm.
So that you kind of just give me, but that's how I had to kind of just put my soul into that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's talk about that event you got coming up.
yeah,
Renaissance Fire
yeah,
artist event.
yeah.
What's some of the details on it? What's going on?
So Renaissance Fire, basically, Renaissance Fire is my nonprofit foundation, right?
September
Basically,
9th.
September 9th,
Oh, you're
come check it
launching.
out. You stop by. But Renaissance Fire, that's where the name Renaissance Fire derived from. So Renaissance Fire, the show is about me coming of age, right?
Yeah.
Becoming this person I am today, right? But it's also lighting up the flame to systemic oppression,
Mm-hmm.
right? All these things that you gotta do it outside, right? But also within yourself, right? You got this moral compass, right? That is telling you how to be. You know what I mean? How to present yourself, right? In order to get where you gotta go, whatever you got this mental that actually reset it, right? So how to be a man, how to be a black person, right? How to think, right? You gotta change that mindset. Then you gotta project a new reality for yourself, right? That's this man to the net, right? Then you gotta light up the flame to the what the world is telling you to be as well too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And all these barriers that they set before you, whatever, right? That is a fight you gotta go against as well too. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about. And this entire portfolio of my work is a kind of creation of my entire life, right? It's not a sad story. It's like how I won each battles, right? And every lesson I learned in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what it's about. Renaissance Fire. Then also it's about sharing my platform. You know, the platform I have. You know, I'm very giving, right? Yes, I'm on a starving artist because I don't come myself as starving artist, right? And people operate in a sense of lack and scarcity, and I operate in abundance. I have a very abundance mindset. This is my first solo show. The opening, I have the entire gallery, but I'm also featuring 10 to 15 artists that I've collected along the way that I rock with.
Mm-hmm.
So for my opening show, I'll have other artists I'm actually featuring as well too, because a lot of them doesn't know how to present themselves, they don't know how to do the business side of things, whatever. While I'm looking to kind of give them a platform to sell the work at my show.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's the whole concept of the show.
That's fire.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
I like it a lot.
yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm definitely gonna come to that.
Yeah,
But, and it's a free event.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a
RSVP, right?
yeah, yeah,
Everything.
it's a free event. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Come out there. It's free food, free drink. You know what I mean? You might have to pay $1 or 2 for a drink. I don't know whatever we're gonna decide, but for the night it's free,
Yeah, just to
right?
get in and
Yeah,
experience the art
yes,
and
yeah. Support the artists. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's about the artists because, like I said, a lot of these artists doesn't know young artists or emerging artists doesn't know how to sell
Yeah.
their work. They don't know how to present it. So this is an opportunity I just kind of show them because I can tell you one thing, but if I can show you,
Yeah.
you know, it's better, right? So that's why I'm kind of doing like this.
Is this like going to be a lot of artists that are from Minnesota or that are at least based out of here, or is people flying in for this event?
I think I got 3 artists flying in. My girl Henny from the Bronx gonna fly in. Hopefully she
Mm-hmm.
fly in or fly some work in. I got my boy from St. Louis gonna fly in. You know what
Okay.
I mean? He's dope as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Seals. Who else I got? My brother might fly in from Connecticut. I haven't tapped in on him yet. And I got a homie from Chicago flying in as
Mm-hmm.
well. But then everybody else is from Minneapolis.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's dope.
yeah.
One big thing I know, I feel like at the time was kind of controversial. You know, there was a Prince mural that was painted recently in downtown like a year ago, I
Uh huh.
think, and they sourced the artist from a different. I think it might have even been a different country. It was at least it wasn't from Minnesota. Like
He
they
was from
weren't.
Florida.
They were from Florida.
Yeah.
What is your basic? I want to know what your opinion is on like obviously Prince is a Minnesota icon. It's
Mm-hmm.
in downtown Minneapolis. If I'm the one commissioning that work, I would probably want to keep the money in Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
Minneapolis, Twin Cities, even just Minnesota. Someone that's been out here working for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like more murals that represent Minnesota like that should come from a Minnesota artist, or are you basically you think that it's okay to basically just book whoever they feel like is the best for the job?
All right. So who's best for the job? Because we have talent here, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of
We,
talent with art out here.
but that was a political move.
Yeah.
It was a political move, right? And it was a way to, this person is a world-renowned artist.
Okay.
You know, it was a way to kind of get exposure to that art scene, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of bought into his audience and his demographic, whatever, and this thing. And also, like I said, with the political move, right? We have another artist here, but you know, yeah, it was a political move. I would keep it like that, right? And now they know. Now they know because there's an outcry of why, right?
Hmm.
And but you also have these systems that are in place of people that have their own interests, right? They get in front of the artists
Hmm.
and they like to exploit the artists, right? So how trustworthy are them of our tribe, right? That's what it is, right? Do you feel as though that we're credited enough for that kind of job? You know what I mean? Or do you feel as though that we're worthy to be paid $100,000 or $200,000 for that kind of job, or whatever? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's up to that. So there's a middleman, you know what I mean, that represent the artist, whatever. That you gotta. That's like what my war is against. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because oftentimes they don't feel you're worth what it is you're asking for. You know what I mean? But yeah, there are talents here for that, and there will be many more jobs that can be like that or better. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There are probably better artists here than that. So I can't really say that guy's less deserving because all he is he's an artist. He didn't take no food out of nobody's mouth because there will be numerous jobs available for artists to actually eat and work, whatever. He
Yeah.
actually gonna add it more to the potluck, you know what I mean? And you know, and that's really it. So I can't really speak on him because it's another brother that actually wants to get it. And
Hmm.
yeah, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say, oh wow. And it's not his job to say, you know what?
It's not his, yeah, just to turn it down and say no,
Yeah,
give it to a Minnesota
yeah,
person. Yeah.
yeah. It's not his place to do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so yeah,
Yeah.
I can't really speak against that. Yeah,
No, that's a good
I
take for
support
sure.
him.
I know one chain of events that happened during COVID was the George Floyd
Yeah,
protests and everything, and there was a lot of murals being painted during that time,
you're right.
which I feel like were sourced very locally. I
Mm-hmm.
know you were painting a lot during that period,
You're right.
doing a lot of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
and other portraits like
Right.
that. How was that time period as an artist? Because I know photographers, artists, even news outlets, like
Mm-hmm.
that was like a very like pivotal point for a lot of people, like at least for Minneapolis in general, to get
Right.
like a shine for
Right.
a lot of things that are going on out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And I'll speak on like that time period, being an artist during that time period, and doing what you do with the murals and stuff like that.
It's interesting. I mean, I did a lot of watching and collecting data, you know, because this is like my plight, right? And
Yeah.
you know this is happening, right? But it's like they finally get it, you know, because when you are as an artist, like when your whole plight is lighting up the flame to systemic oppression, and people actually getting it and active within it, it's like, yeah, let's go, let's get it. So
Hmm.
I didn't have the urge to go out there, yeah, I'm going to prove myself. A lot of artists, they finally stepped up and did something, but normally they don't paint about that shit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're always about we are the world and it's kumbaya. No, it's like, nah, Minnesota got exposed for who they are. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? I'm glad a lot of artists went to the front lines and expressed themselves, right? Which
Hmm.
is like beautiful to see. But that been my thing. I only painted I painted George Floyd once,
Hmm.
and I painted Breonna Taylor. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And when I came, because based on my past, once I started realizing the trauma that I've actually experienced with where I come from, I did a lot of protesting. I wasn't around because it was coming up, right? So I had to kind of get away from the large crowds, right?
Hmm.
And I was more so just secluded in my studio, just watching and absorbing because I could feel everything,
Hmm.
right? So when I came back, I did a piece that was commissioned by my teacher from high school. I stayed in my brother's apartment and just I didn't go to George Floyd Square at all because I didn't want to have the energies interfere with what I had going on. You know what I mean? But I pulled from it, and I created that piece, and that painting just took off, and when it was
Hmm.
all over the world, right? So like I was tapped in, but just wasn't on the front line because
Hmm.
it was just like more so like wow, y'all finally get it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it for sure. Yeah, it was a like I really enjoyed like being able to just see a lot of local artists flourishing
Mm-hmm.
and painting their feelings out
Yeah,
loud,
yeah.
and their depiction, the George Floyd
You're right.
murals, or whether it's people holding hands,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was really cool to see like a lot of local businesses
Yeah, yeah,
hire
yeah,
local artists to
yeah.
do these murals outside their store. A lot
You're
of
right,
people are
right.
getting boarded up, whether they're painting on the boards or just painting on the walls to
You're right, right.
stand for what's going on
You're
around
right,
here.
right.
We even had when we had our boards up, we had Dio and Day Day
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
help painter who did this wall right here
Brother right
too.
here. Yep.
Yeah, Dio super fire.
You're right.
Do you So besides art, I seen you've been walking in fashion shows.
Yeah, yeah,
You're doing
yeah,
the clothing stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Is that like another passion of you? I know art and clothes and fashion kind of all go together, but
yeah,
the
yeah.
clothing game is another passion of
Yeah,
yours.
it's always been that though. Like my background. I have a clothing line, right? I have a clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, I started called ICD Clothing, which stands for Incomplete Design.
Hmm.
So that's like something I created in high school. That's what I was talking about when I walked in the store. Like, wow, this is something I did already. And I had a gallery out in Connecticut. Gallery studio in Connecticut is called ICD Creative Studios, which is like the art and the clothes as well too. So now it's like, wow, coming to Minnesota is like getting out of my shell, because the reason why I started modeling, because like I'm very flamboyant, right? And it's like, but you kind of suppress that because you don't want to be too cool, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
People rather do it for you. It's like, nah, I'm gonna just have fun. So the whole modeling thing was just me having fun and just expressing myself, and
Hmm.
that was really it. That's something like I'm not a model. I'm an artist, right? I'm an
Hmm.
artist and a businessman, But
Yeah.
however way I can go out there and express myself, I'm doing it,
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I feel like you mentioned a lot of different states since we
yeah,
started this podcast.
yeah,
What
yeah,
is what have you taken away from going to places like Connecticut, New York,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
California to bring back to your home of Minneapolis?
Um, just being able to be open minded, right? Being open minded and being like diversity, right? How diverse, people have their own problems, right? People have their own culture.
Hmm.
People have their own custom, right? And as a young man that has been navigating by himself, right, I had to learn. We all carry a capsule, right, that we want to trade, regardless of our status, whatever, right? We'll have a capsule we all want, right?
Hmm.
Which is respect, love, dignity, honor, humility, right? And if you have this for me, I have it for you.
Hmm.
Regardless of whether you're racist or not, if you have that for me, I will want to do business with you. That's a common interest, right? Something I've learned, along the way. You know what I mean? Regardless of wherever you come from, we carry those 5 capsules, whether it's 5 or 10 capsules, we all carry this capsule, right? And you can trade with each other. So anywhere you go in the world, right, if you have those 5 capsules, right, you can show another person. That's one thing
Hmm.
I realized. Why anywhere I go, I can adapt it because I have those capsules, with me.
Hmm.
And the minute that somebody want to offer me less than 3.5 out of the 5, then it's like, nah, it's war.
Hmm.
Then there's friction because you want to impose your will on me, or you want to cheat me. You feel
Hmm.
cheated because you're not giving me respect I deserve. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So like that, whatever. So those 5 capsules, if you can like figure out what these are for yourself,
Hmm.
you can go anywhere in the world and trade it with it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter whether you're Jeff Bezos or freaking God lay on the street corner. Earning God on the
Hmm.
street corner, he want to be respected because
Yeah.
he hold on his dignity as a man with his dear life. Right?
Hmm.
You cannot spit on him. You spit on him, but you're robbing me of my dignity. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Something like that. And being kind, you know what I mean? Something like that. So we all want that, regardless of where we are. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's something I've learned. And with that, I can go anywhere in the world and I'll be just fine. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Have you found like success with like selling art more in other markets besides the Twin Cities? Like, is there like you go to New York, people are like your or like are they more willing to dish out more cash for art in other markets than Minneapolis?
Um, the money's everywhere, but my audience have been a lot online. Prior to me coming back to Minneapolis, my audience online would go viral. I would do a painting. Somebody from Kansas, somebody from Europe
Mm.
might want a painting. I would do a commission here and there. I was shipping everywhere, California,
Yeah.
like everywhere. Like it was like whoa, boom. But now I've been in Minneapolis, been
Hmm.
focused on my work. So I've done less of that,
Hmm.
But I know I can sell my work anywhere as long as I can speak and be of service. Let's get this money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's get this money.
Yeah. How do you get in the zone to paint? Do you have like a routine, like a pregame routine that people have if they have a game tonight or whatever? They wake up, they have a certain coffee, listen to a certain music, certain time. Like to get in the zone to paint, do you do anything? Certain types of music or remedies, or you just do it at anything
So I
whenever?
get up in the morning,
Yeah.
do my coffee, say my prayer.
Hmm.
Thank my great God that I believe in so much. I
Hmm.
love him. I speak about God so much. People get
Hmm.
mad at me. This guy's so Christian. Well, no, my name is Christian,
Hmm.
artist billionaire Flahn mainly.
Hmm.
I had to really, I had to solidify that in the concrete while it's still wet because I'm not changing that.
Hmm.
Then I go up on my day, I go running. I would run like probably
Hmm.
7 miles, right?
Every day?
Not every day, probably
Okay.
3 times a week, right?
When you
Because
know
I
you
can't
got
run
shit
too
to
much.
do,
Yeah,
or when
right.
you need to freshen up,
Yeah, then
yeah.
I would go to the gym. I lift weights, right? By the time 7, so then I obviously do like the stuff. I'll engage with people, whatever. I'm collecting energy, right? By 7, 8 o'clock, the muse gonna meet me in the in my apartment, right? She's gonna show up there, and when she arrived, I'm there waiting for her, right? Then by let's say between 8 to 12, let's dance. Let's fucking dance. Like it's coming with storm. Yeah, so that's like the process, right? You know, but if I'm already locked in, if I get stuff done, fuck all that bullshit. Let's get to work. You know what I mean? I will do my 30 push-up, my 100, go to the gym, work out in myself, whatever, come back upstairs and boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? I had no time to spend like 6 hours trying to do like my ritual, going to the gym, getting coffee, saying hi to the dog, all that. Because all of that is part of my ritual. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how I get to the zone.
Have you ever had a night like or what's the longest you've ever gone straight without like leaving, let's say, your art studio, just like working? Do you have like a memory of like you spent 24 hours straight working on a piece and didn't leave, or do you like any late night, like do you have any kind of cool stories like that while working on a piece?
Oh, recently, like I said, the one I just did for my bro, I did that one recently. I had a deadline and it just came out. You know, it's like I had to get knocked out of the way. So when I mean go mode, everything that I do already, I have, you know, I can be in place, I can dance, I can, you know, all that, but I do it in place, right? I know how to rest. You know, rest is very important for me. You know what I mean? I know my increments of, you know, if I take like 20-minute break of, you know, just power nap, I can do that as well too, or 45 minutes, you know what I mean? So I have certain systems in place, whatever, where I know what to do. And when I gotta get stuff done, I have no interaction with nobody because I just don't want to deal with resistance because at that point, right, you cannot give resistance any, resistance is an ultimate enemy as a creator. Right, so you have to eliminate resistance at all costs, right? Because it's gonna come in here and just hijack your mind, whatever. Literally, somebody can be used to kind of provoke you, and you just off track like that. So I have no access at all. So I'm in my apartment and just painting. You know what I mean? I would not even get on the phone with nobody because somebody could say something stupid to me and I don't like it. Now I'm like, I'm mad right now. You know what I mean? So like, I don't leave nothing up to chance at all when I'm about to create something. Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, shit, man, this has been a great conversation. Do you have anything you want to add? Anything I missed? Any messages for any artists out there? Anything like
So
that?
before I say anything, right, I want to shout out my bro. What's his name? Jed.
Jed, man, yep.
So I like this hat because it's like it says I manifested this motion before I was broke. Because I used to be broke, right? I did manifest it, everything. Everything that I'm doing now, I manifested it. I decided that I was gonna do an art show and everything showed up. Once I decided that I was gonna do something, whenever I decide I'm gonna do something, everything shows up. Like somehow the universe conspire with you, right? But you gotta be very confident in yourself. You gotta be, you know, as an artist, you'll get tested. And when you get tested, it's a test of confidence, right? There's this old saying that says, every level is a new devil. And the devil in the show to kind of test your confidence in God. You know what I mean? How much do you believe in God, right? If you don't believe in God, I'm not letting you go to the next door, right? So your confidence will be tested, and whatever you say you want to do, it'll be tested. You know what I mean? Like, oftentimes people quit. You know what I mean? They back out because they're not committed enough. They're not sure whether or not they want to do this. They don't want to sacrifice themselves, whatever. So, and that's really, so I manifested this movement, you know what I mean? So shout out to my boy Jerry because I took his hat, you know what I mean? I seen it. I'm like, I'm going to wear this and talk about this. So yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, no, I get. I feel the same way. Everything where we're sitting right now was definitely manifested, man. We talked about it. We didn't know exactly how it was going to be, but we knew we were going to have a space for people to come and interact with us and enjoy their time. And you know, now we're sitting here in a whole building with the name Waterwave on it.
Yes,
you know, 5 years ago, we were in the dorm rooms talking about it. So it's like you never fucking know what happened. And one big thing that resonates with me is that I learned along the way is you never fail until you quit. Like no matter what you're doing, you only fail when you decide to quit doing it.
Bro.
Then you failed. But it's like if you never fucking quit, then you never fail.
Bro, right? And it's all content. It's all content. It's all content. When you, like, the minute that brush, I would use brush analogy because I'm an artist, right? Like, from the start of the brush to the end of the brush, right, it's all content, right? Just look at that, right? You can pull from anywhere. I can pull from any parts of my life, and it's going to be my art. Any parts of my life that happened to me, it's all content I can use. It's mine to use, right? And that's the fair advantage because some people try to erase it. Then, bro, you do yourself a disservice. These are content. When I'm walking, I went out there to get coffee. It's black coffee. You know what I mean? I'm a black artist, whatever, right? I'm using that for my art. You know what I mean? Like, it's all content. It's all content. But you have to just sit there and realize that for you because it all happened for you, but not against you. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, once you accept that, then it's like cool. But if you don't accept it, it's never gonna happen for you.
There you go. Hey man, this was an amazing interview.
Yeah, bro.
I'm glad I could have had you on here.
Yes, thank you so much, bro.
I feel like every time I do one of these, it always feels like it gets better every time.
Yes,
Maybe I'm
yes.
just good at picking my guests and whatnot. But yeah, where can they follow you? Your website, what you got coming up? I know we talked about the show. Your Instagram will have been popped up on the screen while we're talking. But where can they tap in with you to see your artwork, your portfolio, and all that?
Go to FlahnMainlyStudios.com or .us or Flahn Mainly on Instagram. You can find me, and I'm very active on Instagram. I talk a lot of shit. Follow me on there. Follow me. RenaissanceFire.com. That's the event website I launched, whatever. So tapped in RSVP on there. You know what I mean? And just tap in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's Waterwave TV. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Flahn.
yeah.
I'm Ricky.
Yeah,
Make sure
yeah.
you subscribe, like, and share this with all your
Yeah, yeah,
friends.
yeah.
Come shop. Wow, just on time.
Perfect. Right on
Come
time.
shop with us at 1521 Como Avenue, Southeast Minneapolis,
Let's go.
Minnesota.
Let's do it.
Someone's calling the phone right now. You can answer it. Okay. But yeah,
It's all
subscribe, like,
context.
share. Come 1521 Como Avenue, Southeast.
Love,
Get it,
bro.
man.